Welcome back to The Lost Tactician, where history isn't just a collection of dates and names. It's a battlefield of human ingenuity against impossible odds. Today, we're exploring an older, more primal conflict: humanity versus the merciless grip of winter itself. Imagine facing a season where temperatures plunge to 30 below zero, where your breath crystallizes before it leaves your lips, and where a single mistake means you won't see the spring thaw. No fleece jackets, no propane heaters, no grocery stores, just you, your clan, and a landscape that wants you dead. How did ancient nomads not only survive but genuinely thrive through such brutal, icy nights? The answer lies in their profound understanding of physics, biology, and the natural world. Knowledge so sophisticated, it puts many modern survival techniques to shame. Picture the Eurasian steppe in December, 15,000 years ago. The wind screams across endless white plains, carrying ice crystals that flay exposed skin like microscopic razors. Temperatures routinely drop to levels where spit freezes before hitting the ground, where metal tools shatter, where simply breathing deeply can damage lung tissue. Ancient nomadic peoples, from the reindeer herders of Siberia to the mammoth hunters of the Ice Age steppes, faced challenges that would kill a modern human in hours. Hypothermia wasn't an abstract threat, it was a nightly possibility. Starvation loomed when game grew scarce and edible plants vanished beneath meters of snow. Even apex predators, driven desperate by hunger, posed constant threats. Yet these people didn't merely endure. They raised children, maintained complex social structures, created art, and expanded into some of the harshest environments on Earth. How did they not just cling to survival, but actually thrive in conditions that would hospitalize a modern person, equipped with the finest gear? The nomadic approach to shelter reveals a sophisticated understanding of thermodynamics. Forget the Hollywood image of shivering primitives in drafty caves. Ancient peoples engineered their dwellings with precision, creating highly efficient microclimates. Consider the semi-subterranean pit house used across Central Asia and the Arctic. By excavating below the frost line, builders accessed Earth that maintained relatively constant temperatures year-round. The genius lay in the entryway design, a tunnel dug at a lower elevation than the main living chamber. Dense, frigid air, being heavier than warm air, would sink into this entrance passage and stay there, creating a thermal airlock. Meanwhile, heat from bodies and fire would rise and accumulate in the elevated living space, trapped by a roof layered with sod, hides, and moss. This was deliberate engineering. The Inuit igloo represents perhaps the most counterintuitive shelter innovation in human history. Building your house from the very element trying to kill you seems absurd until you understand the science. Snow, when properly compacted, contains countless tiny air pockets that act as insulation. An igloo can maintain internal temperatures of 15 to 20 degrees Celsius using only body heat and a small lamp, even when outside temperatures plunge to -40. The curved interior prevents heat from escaping through corners, while a small ventilation hole releases just enough carbon dioxide without bleeding away precious warmth. Nomads on the steppes constructed yurts with multiple layers, an inner wall of felt, an air gap, then an outer weather-resistant covering. This dead airspace provided remarkable insulation using the same principle as modern double-paned windows. They positioned structures with entrances facing away from prevailing winds and tucked them against hillsides that offered natural windbreaks. Every detail mattered because every detail could mean the difference between warmth and death. Fire in the ancient world wasn't just about warmth, it was the technological cornerstone of survival. Starting fire in extreme cold presents unique challenges. Friction methods become nearly impossible when your hands are numb, tinder freezes solid, and even successfully generated sparks struggle to catch. The solution? Don't start fires, maintain them. Ancient nomads used ember carriers, sophisticated devices that allowed them to transport smouldering coals between camps. These might be hollowed fungus wrapped in bark, or clay containers insulated with ash designed to keep embers alive for days. When you arrived at your new camp, you didn't need to generate fire from scratch, you simply fed the ancient flame. In regions where wood was scarce, nomads demonstrated remarkable resourcefulness. Arctic peoples developed the kudlik, a crescent-shaped soapstone lamp filled with seal or whale blubber with a wick made of Arctic cotton or moss. This device provided steady heat and light for months. The rendered fat from a single seal could warm a family through weeks of polar night. On treeless steppes, dried animal dung became the primary fuel source, unglamorous but remarkably effective. The Siberian fire technique addressed another critical problem, preventing your fire from melting surrounding snow and ice, which would soak your bedding and create deadly moisture. Nomads constructed raised platforms of green logs, elevating the fire above the snow. They also employed thermal mass principles, heating large stones in the fire, then moving them inside shelters where they would radiate warmth for hours, turning rocks into primitive batteries for storing thermal energy. Winter meant the disappearance of easy calories. Ancient nomads responded with hunting strategies that combined patience, observation, and community cooperation. They studied animal behavior so intimately that they could predict where caribou would cross frozen rivers, where ptarmigan would shelter from blizzards, where seals would maintain breathing holes in ice. But hunting was only part of the equation. Preservation determined survival. Nomads constructed caches in permafrost, nature's own freezer, where meat could be stored for months. They smoked fish and meat over slow fires. They rendered fat and mixed it with dried meat and berries to create pemmican, a calorie-packed survival food that required no cooking and could last for years. The principle of total utilization governed their relationship with every animal killed. Nothing was wasted because waste meant death. Hides became clothing and shelter. Sinew transformed into thread and bowstrings. Bones became tools and structural elements. Fat provided fuel for lamps, waterproofing for clothing, and critically important calories for generating internal body heat. This wasn't noble environmentalism. It was ruthless efficiency born of necessity. Nomads also understood that surviving winter meant entering it fat. They consumed enormous quantities of calorie-dense foods in autumn, literally fattening themselves as insulation and energy reserves. High-fat diets weren't just preferable, they were physiologically essential for keeping core temperatures stable during endless frozen nights. These ancient strategies reveal a fundamental truth. You cannot conquer nature, but you can understand and work with it. Ancient nomads succeeded not through brute force or technological dominance, but through intimate knowledge of natural systems. They didn't try to heat the entire outdoors. They created small, efficient spaces and filled them with the warmth of community. The psychological dimension deserves recognition as well. These people possessed mental resilience forged through generations of hardship, a calm acceptance of discomfort that allowed them to function effectively under conditions that would psychologically shatter most modern individuals. They understood that panic kills faster than cold, that patience and methodical action trump desperate improvisation. In our age of climate-controlled environments and just-in-time supply chains, these lessons feel increasingly relevant. The principles that sustained ancient nomads, adaptability, resourcefulness, community cooperation, deep environmental literacy, remain as vital as ever. The Lost Tactician exists to uncover these forgotten strategies, to demonstrate that history isn't just about what happened, but about what we can learn and apply. If this journey into the frozen past has sparked your curiosity, hit that like button, share this with someone who appreciates the intersection of history and survival, and subscribe for more insights into how human endurance has shaped our species. The tactics may be ancient, but the lessons are timeless.